we gon' run it. Hit the field, blast off, watch a mom fall. This is AFC North talk. Got me hype, it's about to be a touchdown. Got the Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and the Browns. Are you listening? It's time to get it hype. Tune in when the season poppin'. Yeah, we going live. Ay, knock 'em out. Ay, first down, going hard. Yes, indeed. AFC North talk. Let's go. Ay, AFC North talk.
Welcome to another edition of AFC North Talk. Here we are. Preseason's done. We're going to give you a quick recap, any surprises on the 53-man rosters, and then we're going to go straight ahead to ranking those offensive line because they also need some love. The big guys that protect your franchise quarterbacks. Okay, I would say for the Ravens, 53-man roster, there's not really no surprise. Two undrafted rookies made it. Armour Davis got cut, which surprised some people. He played well. Also, he's in his fourth year, and every year has gone hurt. So I think they decided to go with the undrafted guy since there's depth. I think they would like to bring him as a practice squad member.
This was an unusually good class of undrafted players this year.
Yeah.
Like a lot of teams have kept undrafted. The Browns kept 6.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
On top of having extra picks this year. So
that's right. You guys pick what, 11 players? We pick 11 players too.
Yeah, we picked 2 guys in the second. So 2 guys in the third. So that's what, 5, 4, 6, and then Shador. So 7 picks, but all within like the top 150.
Yeah, so that's basically the updates for the 53 man. Oh, we have 2 quarterbacks instead of 3. I thought that was gonna happen as well. Q, I feel like you have the most updates also when Junkins haven't signed yet.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, because I know. Hey, by the way, Boswell's not the 3rd highest paid kicker anymore.
Yeah, he's what, second?
Second.
Oh yeah. Dustin Hopkins.
Yeah. So, there was really not a lot of surprises on the 53. I think the kicker was probably the biggest one. Wondering if they finally pulled a trigger on that. It had been a long time coming for Dustin Hopkins. Had a really bad year last year. Hasn't had the best camp. So they went with the younger guy. We'll see if that's who they stick with. I think the bottom of this roster is in flux, right? They got 2 running backs on the roster, but they're probably going to keep 4 eventually. So 2 spots are pretty much, just trying to hold over so you can get a guy to the practice squad, right? Who are those guys? I tend to think it's probably Gage Laverton, maybe. Maybe they want to keep DeAndre Carter. I don't know. Then you also got to think like Quinshon's going to sign his contract as well, right? He's going to be on the roster once he signs his contract. So what's that situation like? So the Browns got a lot to figure out. The one room where I was surprised they only kept 5 was linebacker because Devin Bush might get suspended. That brings you down to 4. Mahmoud Diabate is already not been practiced for like 3 weeks. So you're concerned about his status. I mean, those 2 guys are out. You can end up week 1, 3 linebackers. So I think they're probably going to and sacrifice in different areas. The Browns, just like every other team, they're going to be very strategic with that first 53. And they're going to keep editing that bottom of the roster as the year goes on. The Browns tend to be very strategic with that first 53. So, I would expect maybe 5 or 6 of these guys who made the roster. I mean, we talked about it earlier. The Browns have 6 UDFAs on this active roster right now. That number is probably going to go down, right, to about 4. One of those UDFAs is also Isaiah Bond, right, who's kind of like, it kind of don't count, right? He's kind of an extra draft pick.
Yep.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this. But yeah, 6 UDFAs. A roster is still a bit in flux. Obviously, I think the other thing, they traded Kenny Pickett. This might have surprised people who don't listen to any of the shows that I'm on, but I've been saying this for months, man. I've said this since the whole thing broke down. Joe Flacco is likely going to win this job. Kenny Pickett would get shipped if they could ship him. And then they would keep the 2 rookies. I know there was a lot of speculation nationally on what would happen with this. I thought it was a fairly obvious conclusion to come down to. But yeah, Kenny Pickett couldn't beat out Joe Flacco. Didn't surprise me that would be the case. Now, he did it because well, I mean, look, you run for an 80-yard touchdown in an unpadded practice and you pop your hamstring. It might be the best thing to happen to the Browns because then they could sell him as, hey, man, he didn't get beat out in camp. He just got hurt, right? So, a team like the Raiders is willing to buy him there at that price at the 5th round pick, basically give you your pick back. And, kudos to Andrew for not really folding on value because if that were me, Kenny Pickett would have been shipped for 2027-6, and I would have been right, and I would have gotten half the value there. So that's good there. I'm pretty happy with the cutting of the kicker. I think it was about time. Dustin's had a bad year. He hasn't really given me any confidence.
Who's the kicker then? I didn't check that.
Andre Schmidt. If you watch the UFL, he was a kicker for the Battlehawks a couple years ago.
Okay.
And he spent last year on practice squads in the NFL. Now he got an opportunity there. Made the game-winning field goal in the preseason game. He's made a couple of long field goals. It's looked pretty solid. We'll see if they stick with him, right? Because if somebody does come available, they might go that direction. I don't mind it. My theory is the UFL is probably the best place to go grab a kicker. I think drafting is nonsensical because very rarely does that guy work out. I know it worked out for Cincinnati, but, that's the exception, not the rule. Most of these kickers end up being good for other teams, right? When they get drafted. So, yeah, I don't mind taking a guy from the UFL. Those guys tend to stick whenever they make it up. And hopefully that continues to be the trend here with Andre Schmidt. And maybe if Andre Schmidt kicks well, he's young enough to where he could be your kicker for a while. And I ain't got to talk about this shit no more.
I'm excited to see what Kenny Pickett's aunt has to say about this because I haven't seen her say anything yet. But perhaps in due time.
Yeah,
I've never heard about that. Is that his drama family person? Is his aunt?
Yeah, his aunt is like insane on Twitter, and it's very funny.
Glad I never got to a place with Kenny Pickett's running Cleveland where I got to learn that lore.
Yeah, don't worry.
It's pretty AFC funny. North Talk. Wonder if she watches. Would love to.
I hope so.
If she did, we would know, right? We would absolutely know.
You would think so.
Maybe she was tweeting about this Cleveland situation, but she was lost in all the Shador Sanders of it all. Hey, I got dealt with enough, right? So I probably wouldn't have noticed it. But yeah.
I remember once he got traded from Pittsburgh, she went on this whole firestorm about how the team set him up to fail and everything like that.
Ain't it crazy how that always happens?
It's so funny. She walks so the Shador goofs could run. It's very fun.
It's always whenever somebody you put a unjust amount of expectation on early fails. It's always they got set up to fail. It's never, hey man, maybe they just weren't ready for that kind of hype. Maybe
correct.
We should have calmed the fuck down at the beginning. That would have been better for everybody. Hey, look, I've been saying this since the draft. Everybody just need to calm down, let it happen. And now,
Q, I'll let y'all in on a little fun something that I'm doing right now. Let me see if I actually have it saved. If not, I'll save it and then send it to myself. But it's something that I'm doing for the Substack, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Oh, is this the project you told me about?
Yes. So let me go to somebody else. I'll get it pulled up, and I'll share it.
In the meantime, Ace. You guys have good news. You got Hendrickson. I'm going to say this. I'm going to take a victory lap here real quick. Very early in the offseason, I say, Ace, I think the best choice here is 1-year deal, up it. That way you can tell him, you know what, next year, go get your money. Now, the one thing I was surprised was that I said that with the caveat that in the clause, it will be you can't franchise me. That's not part of the clause.
Yep, that's not part of the clause.
So it's 1-year deal.
I'm gonna have to stop you on that, Sonny, because it was also on this show that you said that the Bengals wouldn't be able to keep T, Jamar, and Trey. You also said that as well.
Did I say that? Or did I say that?
You said there was no way that we'd be able to keep all three. Somebody would have to go.
I would say more than I am surprised you wanted to keep
all three, though.
You said what?
Long term, though, you're not keeping all three. This is like a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah, we still have them for this year, but he said that there was no way that this offseason that we'd be able to keep all three.
I don't remember, but that's something I could say. I see myself saying that too. I'll take a victory and I take the L on the other side.
I mean, you're not the only person. There was a lot of people that said that. So, but yeah, I think the trade deal for me, I always thought that this would be an option. Like, I thought that it would be the last option that the Bengals would want to do, which is giving him, the bonus for the last year. The interesting thing is, where does this go next season? There is, like you just said, there is no tag clause. The situation was the Bengals offered him a 3-year, $96 million deal with no guarantees in the second year. He was like, no, I'm not taking that. They were only willing to guarantee the first year. So when they came to this kind of agreement, I kind of saw that. It didn't like the Trey Hendrickson situation. The most hostile that it was the day that he showed up talking to the reporters, giving the interviews and stuff like that. After that, it was never really hostile. Like when he showed up, like he's been hanging with the team. He's been at practice. He's been at the preseason games. Like I knew that he was going to play for the Bengals. I knew it wasn't going to be a situation where he's like, I'm refusing to play or I'm staying away or anything like that. I still think that he wants to play for the Bengals. They just got to get it figured out, I think, long-term after this season. But it'll be interesting because I think this is a situation where you can't just let Trey Hendrickson leave for nothing if you do decide to not pay him. So I could see them possibly tagging and trading him down the line. But I think now it just gets rid of the distraction of what it is. And it's very like Trey's always done that. It's like he demands a trade. We get closer to the season, then it's like, no, I really want to play for the Bengals, and then he just ends up playing. So
that's my whole thing with it, Ace, is like, and it's not just Trey Hendrickson, but any big name player who publicly requests a trade, they don't actually want traded, nor are they actually going to get traded. It's just a way of putting public pressure on the organization to give them what they want financially.
Give them more money. That's all. I mean, Myles Garrett did the same thing. Like everybody,
Terry McLaurin, Micah Parsons.
I don't want to be here anymore. I'm like Micah Parsons is doing that play right now. Like you don't really want to leave. You just want some more money. Okay.
Y'all reminiscent about real crash outs. I miss when players would actually just destroy their career.
Now look, Antonio Brown. All right, he wanted out and he got out, and look how that worked. By the way, I did find the thumbnail that I'm using for
holdout legend.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He wasn't traded
in Miami.
As a free agent,
huh?
He wasn't traded though. He just hit free agency inside with the Jets.
Well, I mean, he went on them jet skis to make sure he did free agency.
Yeah. So I did find the Browns related thumbnail for my Substack, and it is Kevin Stefanski is Two-Face with the Shador bat signal shining in the background for the city of Cleveland.
That is pretty good.
So that will be coming on the snap. Everybody should go subscribe at jbaileyNFL.substack.com.
You're serious too? That's gonna crack me out.
It's gonna be funny.
So now, last but not least, the Steelers. Before we go to the O-line, the Steelers. Now, I didn't see anything newsworthy like the Ravens for the Steelers. The only thing I was gonna ask was the hold-ins. Well, what is the status on that?
I mean, Cam Hayward's back practicing. It looks like Boswell, he played in the last couple preseason games, so I don't know what they're gonna do monetarily with them.
Preseason game, it's over for your holdout.
Yeah. So I mean, I think. Both of them are going to be playing. That's not exactly a question.
Who are your agents, by the way? Like preseason game, Chris. That's a good idea, right? Goodness gracious.
I don't know. Like I've said on the show before, I would give Chris Boswell more money. He signed a contract extension a long time ago. He's outplayed that. He deserves it. Cam Hayward signed a contract a year ago and is already bitching for more money. Get the hell out. If you wanted more money, you should have got more money last year. So I'm already over that. Not to mention that his brother still has a roster spot on this goddamn team.
That's part of the deal.
God almighty. Yes, of course he is. 83 will have a job in Pittsburgh as long as Cam Hayward is living and breathing.
Man, that's crazy.
He blocked me on Twitter, by the way.
He did.
The brother?
Like 2 weeks ago. I was
Cam
like,
fair
enough.
Which
Connor.
one? Connor did?
I don't know if Cam has or not. I like Cam and everything. I don't have anything against Connor either. It's just like we can call it like it is. If his last name was Smith, he would be elsewhere.
I remember those days. The Carson and Jordan Palmer. Jordan Palmer had no business on the roster.
Oh, dude, I forgot Jordan Palmer was their backup. That's so funny. Oh, that's good. So yeah, for the Steelers, Beanie Bishop was cut. That kind of surprised me. Not to say like Beanie Bishop's anything like incredibly special, but I like Beanie. Was a fine slot player for an undrafted rookie. I mean, he played in all 17 games last year. He had 4 interceptions, but was pretty limited in roles outside of that. Didn't really do anything on special teams. Couldn't play on the outside. They signed Brandon Echols from the Jets, who does have that boundary and slot versatility. They drafted Dante Kent out of Central Michigan, who apparently they love because he made the 53-man roster. But they also cut Chuck Clark, which was a surprise. I fully expected him to be the number 3 safety. So it looks like they're probably going to go hunting for another safety to be the number 3. Juan Thornhill and Deshaun Elliott going to be the starters. And then we'll see who they end up bringing in to be that third guy. But those were the 2 big shockers to me. And they currently have 4 quarterbacks. They didn't release Skylar Thompson. He's still there.
Whoa. 4
yeah.
quarterbacks on a roster?
Oh, look, that's not going to last. We all know that.
It's like,
what's going to happen? They're probably going to put Will Howard on IR. So he's going to be, for at least the first 4 weeks, he won't play. And maybe in that 4-week span, they'll see if they can find a trade partner for Skylar Thompson. That's my guess.
Nah, Jared, I dealt with the whole summer people telling me, oh my God.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
No NFL team would do such a
thing.
Who
would have thought that the Steelers would be the team with 4 quarterbacks on their roster going into week 1, not Cleveland.
Incredible.
Yeah. So that's what I expect to happen, though, is they'll put Will on IR and then they'll try to find a landing spot for Skylar Thompson in the meantime. And look, we just saw the Browns trade Kenny Pickett because a backup got hurt. Aiden O'Connell's, went down in Vegas, so they had to get somebody else with at least some sort of NFL experience to be the number 2 instead of Cam Miller. If that happens elsewhere around the league, then yeah, I fully expect Skylar Thompson to get moved. Like if you can get a 5th rounder for Kenny Pickett, Skylar Thompson's worth at least that. This is a guy who balled out in the preseason. Albeit it's preseason.
Whoa. Kenny Pickett has dubs in the league, buddy. Former first round pick, buddy. You know what I mean?
If he was a former 4th round pick, nobody would give a singular shit.
The reason he's hurt, Jared, is because he was running like Lamar Jackson in unpadded practice for an 80-yard touchdown. Like, put some respect on the name of the 5th round.
The double glove demon.
The double.
Somebody's going to clip this and send it to Kelly Pickett, and she's going to follow you in about 10 minutes.
She won't stay for long.
By the way, Robert Woods got cut, right?
Robert Woods did get cut. That wasn't a shocker. He had a bad camp, and he was playing in the 4th quarter of the last preseason game. Look. Bobby Trees, you had a great career, but it's time to hang it up.
It's over. It's over.
When Mike Tomlin puts you out there in that 4th quarter of a preseason game and you're a veteran and people know, that's basically putting out a flashing light to the league saying, hey, this guy's done.
I'm trying to think of a good NBA comp for Robert Woods, and I think it might be Birdman.
Birdman
was useful.
Robert Woods had a stretch where he was awesome.
No, but
Psycho T. I think it's Psycho T.
Oh, Psycho T is a good shout. Yeah. Just like a solid role player for a little bit, but like the last 2 years of his career is just like, how are you still like he's like the 11th man on the bench and you see him. He's like, oh shit, there's Robert Woods. I didn't know he was on this team. So yeah, does
that make Kenny Pickett Scalabrine?
Marquise Lee.
Oh, Marquise Lee. Oh my God. For the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Good shout.
Went to USC.
Yeah. No, I remember because it was like Cody Kessler was throwing to Robert Woods and Marquise Lee. And I remember the guy on TV was like, there's a lot of quarterbacks on Sunday that would die for that.
Oh, dude, this is also one of my favorite days of the year because you see like all these insiders who are like, wow, a shocker. The guy, the 4th string tight end who's on his 4th team in 5 years got cut today. If there's anybody out there looking for a playmaker, he's your guy. Like, all right, dude, we get it. The agent told you what to say. Like, have a little bit of integrity, please. Well, it's so obvious that you just copied and pasted whatever agent texted you this information and said, all right, put this on Twitter. Like, all right, dude.
If it's a guy who was drafted like pretty high or like maybe he's a name that people know and it's like, oh my God, like, Justin Simmons gets cut. It's like, he's not good anymore. It's pretty well known. But it's like, oh my God, Justin Simmons is available. And everybody makes a video. Should our team go get Justin Simmons? And it's like,
Isaiah Simmons is the other one right now.
Yeah,
because he just got cut.
Oh God!
No, they started playing the old highlights. I saw somebody post a 2019 Nick Chubb highlight. I'm like, the left tackle that was in that.
I think that they're leaning into like it being goofy and supposed to be memey. Like that is funny.
It's wild.
I do love those videos. There's like, oh man, don't let the Browns get this demon, and it's like 2014 highlights. And like, I admire that. That's funny.
Yes.
Okay, so that being said, let's go straight to O-line. Ace, I'm gonna start with you. Who's your 4th O-line group here?
Yeah, I
That
think
that felt intentional.
it
No, it wasn't intentional.
You put the Ravens here for
Not
hey,
yeah,
intentional.
man. I mean, I gotta go with Pittsburgh here, man. They don't have someone on the offensive line. The best lineman might be Troy Fatanu. I'm gonna be
Ace
honest.
Boogie,
What?
you
No
know you're
Frazier.
lying to me right
And
now.
he is, I think, probably their best tackle. Broderick Jones is still a question mark. What is this, year 3 now that we're in with him? I don't think they're a bad group. So
And
I
he's
don't think
moving to
that
left
they're
tackle this year, right? He's moving to left
Broderick's to the
tackle.
left tackle, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been moving all around. I
we've been
mean,
doing the
they've
cha-cha
got
slide, left to right.
Mason McCormick, Zach Frazier. I like Isaac Sumalo. I think they're a fine unit. I think they'll be able to keep Rodgers clean. I think that they'll probably exceed expectations. But right now, I just think Troy Fatanu is the best guy on the roster right now for him. Broderick should be, but he just hasn't lived up, I think, to.
If I may, with my fourth real quick, because it's not going to be Pittsburgh, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
My fourth is going to be Cincy. That's why I thought Sonny. I was like, yeah, it's obviously the Bengals. Like it hasn't been for lack of trying. Like they've tried every year to bring in, notable names to make a difference, but it feels like every year this is the unit that we're talking about. It's like, the Bengals offensive line is still an issue. They can't consistently, provide protection and whatnot. Zach Frazier is one of the best centers in football for the Steelers.
I like him. Yeah, I like him.
Immediately became one of the best centers in football. Isaac Samalo is a very good guard. Elsewhere, Troy Fatanu only played at one game last year, but confidence on the right side. Yeah, Broderick is a question mark. That's a completely fair point to make.
I just when I look at the Steelers, I don't see a Orlando Brown Jr. on the team whatsoever. So I think for me, I've got to have them at 4.
Gotcha.
We got different opinions of Orlando Brown Jr. at this point in his career, I would say.
Okay, well, Q, give your fourth.
Yeah. I mean, I'm putting Cincinnati here at 4. It's not a bad offensive. It's not like we're used to Cincinnati being like atrocious here at offensive line. I don't think they're atrocious anymore. I don't think any of these offensive lines are atrocious in the North. I think they're all pretty solid, right? Cincy's line here is just I'm not as big of a fan of Orlando Brown Jr. as others are. And then outside of that, it's pretty solid. They're all really close here. I don't think anybody in the North really has a dominant O-line. Maybe you could argue the Ravens do, but I think most of the run production's done because they have some dominant personalities behind those lines, but it's pretty good what they have there. I think all these lines are pretty close together. If I have to put one at 4, it's going to be Cincinnati because I know that's probably going to be the team that leads the league. Well, not lead the league, but leads the division in pressures and sacks taken just because.
Wasn't it Cleveland last year?
Yeah, but we're not starting Deshaun Watson anymore. One guy in the NFL that takes more sacks than Joe Burrow. So
Shador, they talked about Shador. I don't know, bro.
Well, I don't think Shador's playing anytime soon.
Yeah, Flacco throws it out there quickly. He would just throw interceptions, and he would throw it out there.
Yeah, so and that line was unhealthy most of the year, right? The Browns line last year was down to tackle 3, tackle 4 a couple of times there. So, I think since he's probably just because, Joe's style of quarterback tends to lead to a little bit more sacks. I think that's not really, he talks about that being a part of his game and that being a sacrifice he's willing to take. And that being said, because that's a sacrifice he's willing to take, he's going to be top 2, no doubt in quarterback rankings, top 5 in the NFL. So it's worth the sacrifice. It's just you're going to take that hit there in the offensive line.
Yeah, so I'm between. I was between 2 teams. I'm going here Cincy mostly because different from y'all. I think Orlando Brown Jr. is solid, or at least
I don't think Orlando Brown Jr. is horrible or anything like that.
Okay, well for me he's definitely a top of the league, top half of the league left tackle, right?
Yeah, if you ranked him in the division, where would you rank Orlando Brown Jr. at left tackle within?
He will be better than the Browns left tackle.
Yeah, it was with DeJuan Jones in Cleveland.
He will be second, and to be honest.
He'd be a 2.
Who's first? You got Ronnie?
Ronnie.
Yeah, Ronnie.
Yeah, it's got to be Ronnie.
Ronnie for sure.
It might be off reputation though.
Yeah.
No, Ronnie had a great year last year. Ronnie had a great year. But anyway, my point is he is definitely good. My problem is after him. I guess that's what I defer.
Marius Mills.
Mims was okay last year.
Look,
Fairchild,
he blanked Myles Garrett. He did blank Myles Garrett.
Okay.
Hold on. Stop. Time out.
That's a fact. That's a fact, Quincy.
How many
He blanked Myles Garrett. He blanked Myles Garrett when they played against each other.
How many times
he blanked him.
Myles Garrett on his side? How many times?
I mean, I don't know. I just know that he blanked him.
How many times did they go up against?
Myles moves around, my brother. I just know when he was on Mims. We didn't hear from him. That's all I know.
Help from a tight end like maybe 2 times.
He did not get help from a tight end. He's 6'8", 360 pounds.
Okay, we'll see if that holds up. I remember when they were doing this shit with Dan Moore. Oh yeah, he blanked Myles Garrett.
I was just about to say that, but I figured you would.
It's all that shit. Rashad Slater was another one. Oh, he blanked Myles Garrett, and Myles gets fucking 2.5 off of him. Okay, it's a dangerous game to play, but you're on the list now.
But anyway, if anything is Mims for me is not that he's bad. It's the inside what worries the most.
Interior. Okay.
Yeah, in all 3 interiors, I have my doubts. Versus in Cleveland, it's almost the opposite. I will
say not that it matters because you don't take rookies into account. Dylan Fairchild was one of the top rookie offensive linemen in the preseason. Take for that what you will. It's the preseason, but he's looked pretty good. Right guard is definitely an issue though.
I do want to say I'm consistent with this even for the Ravens because I always get flagged when I do it to other teams. I do it for the Ravens too. Okay, number 3, Ace. Since you threw the bomb first.
Yeah, I'm throwing bombs, bro. 3 is going to be. Should I throw another bomb?
Good. Who's your 3?
I think I know. And I think
3 is going to be. It could be another team, but I'm going to put the Bengals here. I'm going to go with the Bengals here 3rd. I think the only real spot that we have question marks on our line. I think people are looking at the representation of the Bengals and what they were. Also, Orlando Brown Jr. I think was really good last year. Even played like basically on one leg. Still had his own. Amarius Mims was the guy that they expected him to be. Played really good as a rookie. Issues, like you said, Sonny, were in the interior, sir. Alex Kappa was awful last year. Gave up the most pressures and sacks of any guard last year. He is now gone. However, I'm not really excited about Lucas Patrick. I do like what we've gotten from the position, from the rookie that we've taken that has come in as a backup. Right guard still an issue. Take Harris is fine. He's not this amazing center, but he's not bad either. So, he's slightly above average. And then you've got Dylan Fairchild, who's looked pretty good. And then you got Orlando Brown Jr. So I like the unit there. I don't feel comfortable about the right guard position, but I did consider putting another team here as well.
Oh, interesting to see when that team when you two number 2.
But I'm gonna go with the Bengals here.
Jared.
I'll probably put Pittsburgh here. I think that Cleveland and Baltimore both have more proven players across the board. Like I said, Zach Frazier, I think, is one of the best centers in football already. Isaac Small is a very good guard. The question comes, how good is Broderick Jones going to be? But Troy Fautanu, while we all expect him to be very good, we didn't get to see him too much last year. I expect him to be a good right tackle. And then Mason McCormick, played a little bit sooner than I think the Steelers would have planned last year because James Daniels went down pretty early in the year, but he had very good moments last year. He had times where he looked like a rookie as well, but I'm confident in the offensive line. I think somebody already said it. None of these units are bad. I think that all 4 will be top half of the NFL in terms of performance. But with Baltimore and Cleveland, there's a proven track record with a lot of their guys, more so than there is Pittsburgh, where they're a much younger unit. And Isaac Samalo is kind of the old head in the room. And again, very good guard. Zach Frazier, already very good. I expect Troy Fautanu to be very good, and then we'll see what happens with Broderick at left tackle and if Mason McCormick can take that step forward at right guard. But I'm confident in the unit as a whole.
Y'all drafted Jalen Rivers? I forgot the Bengals drafted Jalen Rivers.
That's who I was talking about at right guard. So Rivers has looked pretty good at right guard. They started him at tackle. Did not look good at tackle. Looked way better at guard.
Yeah, he's guard. He was pretty good at the Senior Bowl when he went in at guard. All right. So I'm kind of in a rock and a hard place here because the Ravens have all of my the last 3 years of offensive line draft crushes right now, right? Linderbaum, Rosengarten, and then Daniel Falele, who's not a draft crush for me. I guess I don't know. I'm kind of stuck here, to be honest with you, between 2 and 1.
Wait, but this is 3 for you. Who's your third?
This is 3. My bad. I'm tripping. Yeah, 3's Pittsburgh. Yeah, no doubt. 3 is definitely Pittsburgh. Just because, like Jared said, a lot of wait and see on this, right? Mason McCormick is somebody you hope takes another step in year 2. I thought he was fine last year.
Yeah.
So Broderick Jones is the big question mark. That's going to make or break this offensive line. If Broderick Jones is ready to play left tackle, you keep Fontanu at right tackle. You have what's the makings of a really good offensive line that's going to be able to be stable for years to come. But if you don't, then that kind of deconstructs everything, right? Because then you're going to have to move guys to positions that they're not their strongest at. Ultimately, I think this line is going to be fine because they don't have Russ back there holding the ball a ton last year, right? It's going to be Aaron Rodgers getting rid of it quick. If it's not Aaron, it's going to be Mason Rudolph. And if you get the Will Howard or Skylar Thompson, I'm not really evaluating your offensive line at that point. So I think this line's going to be fine. It's a good young line. I like the prospects a little bit better than I like Cincy's prospects, but I don't see them as that different than Cincy's either, but just slightly better. I give them the edge because I like some of their young players.
I would say for me, third is also Pittsburgh, but I will say I like Frazier a lot. I thought he was going to be good. He exceeded my expectations from scouting the year before. I also, in that pre-draft last year, like McCormick, and I thought he was very solid as a rookie. I can expect him to take a step up. For me, the tackles is the biggest. Jones. I'm actually
so fucking old man on that line.
Yeah, they're a young O-line. But
Samala's the only old guy that they have. The rest of them are still on the rookie contracts.
No, it's crazy. It feels like you blinked your eyes and that line that had Villanueva, the last Ben line there, and then they just washed them out pretty quickly.
Yeah. There was a 2-year span where it was pretty bad, but at this point they've gotten better.
Fautano is essentially at this point a rookie, right? He only played 1 game. Jones underwhelmed in the past 2 years as a right tackle. I'm assuming, Jared, that the hope is he was a left tackle in college, right? And they're hoping that he can go be the guy that they thought they drafted, correct? Because Fautano played left tackle also at college.
Fautanu played all over the place in college, so they feel pretty comfortable putting him
his
right.
last year. I'm sorry, his last year he played left tackle.
Yeah, but they've said multiple times, we drafted Broderick to be the left tackle. Just so happened that Dan Moore was there for a while, and I thought that last year they were gonna make the transition and move off Dan Moore and make Broderick the left tackle. Obviously they didn't do that, but yeah, it was a weird. It's been a weird process for Broderick Jones, and the Steelers haven't done themselves any big favors when it comes to his development because they moved him around a ton. But hopefully now being at his natural spot, things yield pretty good results.
So this is me saying, even though I do have these questions marked with Pittsburgh, if these two guys hit on the tackles, then potentially they can have a very strong line. But it's the question, can they hit? Because the other way is also true. If they both flop this year, well, Rodgers is going to be running for his life.
That's why I've got Cincy over him. We've got 2 tackles that we already hit him.
Right. So, okay. Let's pay some bills, Jarrett.
Yeah, let's thank our sponsor for this video, Chubbies. Chubbies is ready to help you with their NFL collection, whether you're tailgating, grilling, or riding the highs and lows of the game from your couch. Chubbies has the officially licensed NFL gear to keep you looking like the ultimate fanatic. Bold designs featuring your favorite NFL teams. Chubbies game day gear isn't just comfortable, it's a statement. Rep your team's logos, wildly comfortable polos, wave-making swim trunks, and gym-ready mesh shorts. All the comfort and swagger you need to take on every touchdown dance, chest bump, or dramatic fourth quarter meltdown. If you're not a jersey guy, this is an elite alternative. If you are a jersey fanatic, something tells me you will love the NFL collection that they have. Chubbies is also doing a fantasy football content. So much so that they created their own fantasy football league. George Kittle, Ian Rappaport, and others have come together to assemble the Chubbies League on NFL Fantasy. Each week, the top 5 scorers will win a chance at a Chubbies polo/shorts combo with their team's logo, and the grand champion gets the chance at the ultimate fan experience, a 5-city, 5-stadium NFL tour with a +1, while the fantasy flop faces a hilarious and unforgettable punishment only Chubbies could pull off. Head over to chubbiesshorts.com/AFC. I'm sorry, chubbiesshorts.com/the Chubbies League to learn more and save and have some fun. Get ready for the most outrageous fantasy football season of your life. And also head over to chubbiesshorts.com/AFCNT for $10 off your order. Again, that's chubbiesshorts.com/AFCNT.
The link is, thank you, Chubbies. The link is in the description below. I don't have it today because I was in the weekend using it and I forgot to watch it, but it's great to be out there, guys. It's just, it dries quick, especially right now with the hot days and all that. Also, make sure you follow us on Twitter. We're going to be opening a Survivor League. Make sure you follow us on Twitter if you want to play survival with us. Should be a fun one. Make sure you follow us there. We'll put the link there for y'all to follow us. Okay, we have a super chat. If you want to have your comments, questions, or anything you want to say, super chats are available. King here says, Cincy fans will never admit they should have traded Higgins to build a defense. Y'all sign all those players just to come in third place again.
Not coming in third place again. And second of all, we're the fucking Bengals. We've had AJ Green. We've had Chad Johnson. We're going to sign defensive players. We're not the fucking Ravens. Like, we're the Cincinnati Bengals. We've always invested at the wide receiver position. We've always invested at the quarterback position. That's just what it is. We have some good players that we've had, but we're not known for defense. I don't know where this narrative that, Bengals have defensive players. We've had, like, maybe most people know Vontaze Burfict for his dirty hits. They know Geno Atkins. They know Carlos Dunlap. And they know Trey Hendrickson. That's literally fucking it. I can name about 10 wide receivers that everybody knows that played for the Bengals, running backs, all of this and that. So this whole thing where we're expecting the Bengals to suddenly become a defensive-minded team, that's just not what they do.
I will say this, though. To the point of the person, King, I think it was. If the Bengals, I'm not predicting them finishing third. But if they would finish third for whatever reason, they definitely have to reconsider that the year that they went to the Super Bowl and the years that they were the strongest with Joe Burrow, they had T. Higgins too. But they also had a decent defense, right? We're talking about Reader, Henderson, and they had
18th and 20th in defense. They were not this juggernaut.
But no, I'm not saying top of the league. Yeah. But they were that was good enough with that offense. This is
what I'll say to that. Same defense played the year before. You know what changed? We drafted Jamar Chase. That's what changed.
Fair enough.
Let's just play a game where we name random Bengals defenders. I've got Domata Peko and Leon Hall on the raid right now.
I hated Domata. We kept him for so long. Oh my
I felt like I saw his big ass hair for like 9 years.
DJ Reader was a godsend compared to Domata Peko. It was so many years where we had Domata Peko at nose tackle.
I remember Frosty Rucker.
Frosty Rucker was awful. Yeah.
Dre Kirkpatrick was there for a long
time.
Pat
Sims. Dre Kirkpatrick was getting cooked left and right.
At Alabama now?
He has a son in college now, because he had a son at like 7. He had a son at like 17.
That's crazy.
Well, he also had his son very young, so I think that's a little bit of a,
Yeah, well, it's still.
Same with Frank Gore. Like, he had his son when he was like 19, so like Frank Gore Jr. being there.
Darquez
Denard, oh my God.
Man.
Yo, he was supposed to be so good coming out of Michigan State.
George
was like, that's like whenever the draft happens and this guy who's supposed to be like a top 10 pick falls to like 30 and everybody's like, oh, the Bengals, they just got a top 10 pick at 25. It's like, it's usually fucking Darquez Denard. Okay.
Yeah.
Were they the team that drafted Ray Maluga, or did he just end up there at some point?
We got Ray. We had Ray. Ray just what happened to Ray is he was one of those old school type linebackers, and he just played in the era where it went from running the ball to like passing the ball,
and he couldn't cover for his life.
Cover for anything.
Wait, it's crazy that the Suns, we're talking Suns, Brandon Rice,
Who was
Shiloh
the
Sanders,
safety?
Franco Jr., Tariq Owens, all those got cut today.
Who was the y'all
Oh,
had a
yeah.
corner out of Houston that was good for a while?
For Houston,
Jonathan
Joseph.
Jonathan Joseph.
No,
Yeah.
no. It was somebody else. Forget
He
who
was
it
good, and he came from Houston.
You
No,
talking
it
about
was-
William Jackson III?
William
Might be.
Jackson was
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, William
He
Jackson.
came from Houston.
Yeah.
I thought y'all drafted him.
William Jackson
Houston
III
College?
got a lot of clout off
Yeah.
of being able to shut down AB in his prime. That was it. That's why he got overhyped, was because he was the only person that could put the clamps on AB.
Is there maybe an overlap of who's the Lions? Amik Robertson, because he had like a really good showing against the Vikings in like Week 18 this past year.
The anti William Jackson III was always Joe Hayden. Could shut down AJ Green, could do nothing against Antonio Brown. Not a damn thing. Him and Cecil Shorts would just tear up
Cecil
Joe Hayden.
Shorts.
Cecil
Yeah,
Shorts
any
is
short,
crazy.
like little, like super jetty kind of wide receiver. I remember being like, it's gonna be barbecue chicken with Joe Hayden all game. Bro. But then fucking AJ Green in his prime comes into town, and Joe Hayden one time he held that man statless in a game. I think he had like 5 targets, no receptions, Thursday night football. I remember talking to one of my friends, he was a Bengal fan, about that. He got in his feelings because they love AJ Green.
You talking about that Andy Dalton Thursday night football game?
Yeah, the Red
Oh
Radical.
no, that was the worst game I've ever seen ever.
Yeah, they were like, Deion Sanders was out there talking about pay Brian Hoyer after that game.
Andy Dalton held AJ Green to 0 receptions for.
That he did it twice in that season. He did it both games. I think they
used to go back and forth in college. So them boys went from the SEC straight to the NFL.
I'm like, where is this when Antonio Brown comes to town? Because it's like we got nobody guarding him. And then sometimes it's like the fucking special teams corner ends up on Antonio Brown. And I'm like, where's Joe Hayden? What is this? I just hate it.
It's all right. The random Browns players would like have big games against Pittsburgh and almost lose. Like Isaiah Crowell had like the game of his life one time. I was like, God almighty, you can't stop Isaiah Crowell.
Isaiah Crowell had his moments though.
He says that because Isaiah Crowell rushed for like 150 yards against the Ravens in a half, and then proceeded to fumble the game away. Here's the difference, though, Jared. Yeah, might have had some fun performances against the Steelers. I don't remember them. Why? Because they didn't win the damn game.
The one that sticks out for me, Isaiah Crowell wise, like the Steelers were winning 27-3 at one point. And they almost blew it. I think this is 2016 or 2015. Maybe 2014, somewhere in that
ringing
era.
from the vault.
Yeah, and Isaiah Crowell had a big game, and I'm sure the TGI Fridays he manages now is doing very well. But that was that's what I remember.
Crowell was talented. He was.
Isaiah Crowell. That's crazy.
No. Yeah, Crow was actually good because we drafted him. He was an undrafted guy, and then in that same draft,
where'd he go to college?
He went to he was originally I think at Alabama or Georgia. And then he had to transfer to Alabama State his last year because he got into some kind of legal trouble. He went undrafted, but he was like a second round talent before that. And then I remember Terrence West was the guy that we drafted.
Terrence West, yes.
Terrence West was cheeks. Yeah, he was not good. Not good. Isaiah Crowell was much better than him, but we were really excited about that in Cleveland. We were like, "Oh, this is like Minifield," and it was just stupid. We thought we had the next great Browns running back tandem, and then like a couple years later, we got Hunt and Chubb. And I was like, "Oh, that's what it actually feels like."
It's all right. Steelers fans had to suffer through a few bad running backs. Fitzgerald Toussaint fumbled away a win in Denver in the playoffs, and nobody will ever like that horrible defense that the Steelers had that year. Almost like Ben without Le'Veon and I think without AB for a half almost went into Denver and beat them, and Fitzgerald Toussaint fumbled it away, and no one will ever forgive him for it.
I would never, ever, ever forget the day that Chris Rainey beat the Browns.
Oh God. Chris Rainey.
Yeah, Chris Rainey came in off
so
the
many
street,
random ass people
off the fucking street that year and just put up like the game of his life versus the Cleveland Browns. Where he had like 2 touchdowns or something like that. It was ridiculous. I was like, who is this dude? He just got off the street. I'm like, I hate this.
They've had a few fun, like random dudes that like everybody knows that were there for a little bit. Like D'Angelo Williams had a career resurgence in Pittsburgh for a minute. LeGarrette Blount was there for like 5 minutes, and then him and Le'Veon got caught smoking weed.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, Willie McGahee had a very sad end to his career in both Baltimore and Cleveland.
Yeah,
that was bad. At the end of
I forgot Willis McGahee was in Cleveland for a minute.
Yeah, well, I think it's not worth remembering. It was bad. I was like, wow, he has no juice anymore at all. Like he would cut, and you would just like be like, oh, and then like he's still making the cut, and you're like, oh my god, he's not good anymore.
Okay, so let's go 2-1. You can say your second and first ace. You can go.
Yeah, two for me is going to be Baltimore, and I think the thing that bails them out a lot is they have Lamar Jackson, so he's gonna always add that dimension to where a guy might miss his block, but they're not gonna bring Lamar down because he's gonna juke him in the backfield or something like that. I do like Ronnie Stanley. I do think that they have question marks though when it comes to their offensive line. I think we talk about Andrew Voorhees. The reality is this is a guy that was nearly undrafted because he had the injury. He redshirted a year. Yep. This is the first year he's really actually starting. So we don't know what he is right now. Daniel Falele, I mean, you guys have heard Sonny. He is garbage. So we already know Daniel Falele is not a good guy to have. I know that you're expecting possibly Ben Cleveland there. So has Falele won the job or is it Ben Cleveland?
I don't remember the last time the Ravens had benched somebody that was in a starting lineup from the year before.
And Ben Cleveland is like the offensive lineman version of Tyus Bowser. He's just there. He's just there. They try to get his replacement.
They try to cook it up. It's like that meme with the bicycle. Every year the Ravens try to gas that shit up. Here comes John Hart. Don't sleep on Ben Cleveland. Just like he was with Tyus Bowser every year. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm not sleeping on that fucking half sack he's gonna get this year, dog.
Yeah, so you got him there. Obviously, Linderbaum is amazing. Rosengarten is really good. And you know what you got in Ronnie Stanley. So I think that they are solidified there. They'll be fine because, they're going to use the run. They're going to use Lamar's ability to run as well to help them out. I think they'll be fine. So it's not going to be an issue for them. But number one team is Cleveland. Number one team is Cleveland. When you look at just the on paper, there's not really a weakness there. You know the names. You know who they are. You've seen them do it in the past before, whether it's, Bentonio, whether it's Wyatt Teller, Jack Conklin. You know these guys. So you're expecting them to bounce back. DeJuan Jones had a really good rookie season, spent a lot of time injured last year, but I expect him to be back. They have a solid five. There's like no chink in the armor when you're looking at it. You're like, I know these names. I'm comfortable with this. This is what I'm going to go with. And then even their backups are pretty solid as well. You talk about Zach Zenner, Luke Whippler. Tevin Jenkins, obviously, him as a starter has been questionable, but him as a backup, like if you have any kind of injury or something in a pinch, that's at least a guy that has had starting experience before. Versus, I don't know, the Bengals a few years ago when we had Isaiah Prince, an undrafted college free agent, as our backup. So I think Cleveland has to be number one for me. Just when I look at the list, I can't even make an argument to look at it and be like, oh, this guy, there's question marks about this guy. They literally have no question marks with any of their starters.
Jared, 2-1.
I think I'll probably lean Baltimore just a little bit for number one, just because like Tyler Linderbaum has the argument of being the best center in football right now. Ronnie Stanley's very good. So I'd probably lean Baltimore a little bit, but it's a toss up. I mean, Cleveland, like H just pointed out, the names that have been there for a while in Bentonio, Teller, and Jack Conklin. I do like DeJuan Jones a lot. I remember seeing DeJuan Jones for the first time in person. And I was like, dude, I didn't know that they made you. Like, that is a smart car with shoes. He's huge. So I think that he's going to settle in nicely.
Can you imagine him trying to fit into a smart car?
I bet he could pick one up, like deadlift.
No, he's like giant. Like
he's
like,
big.
He looks big on TV, but like until you see this man in person, and like if you see DeJuan do this, it's like it never fucking ends.
I've never stood next to somebody who was that's not true, because Darnell Washington's probably a foot taller than me, and I stood next to him. But like standing next to DeJuan Jones, who's like an easy 335, like he quite literally two of me, and it's a specimen to.
Falele is huge too.
Yeah. Last year,
I've never stood next to Falele.
Oh,
Yeah, last year Dewan was at like almost 400 pounds. He's lost a considerable amount of weight since then. But yeah, he's like the literal, like, you know how they say the Big Show is like 7 feet tall, 500
Right.
pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the same size that the Big Show actually is.
Right.
Is like 6'9", close to 380, 370, somewhere like that.
Yeah. So I think that across the board they're going to be pretty good. And I do think that there is something to the argument of like, well, Lamar Jackson bails them out of a lot of stuff. So if you look at the sack numbers, they're probably going to be down lower than what they would be if they just had, an average quarterback back there. That's not fair to hold against them. They don't really control that. But regardless, both of them good offensive line units. I wouldn't argue too much with anybody who puts Cleveland at 1.
And there used to be a time where people used to hold that against Lamar, like he would create more sacks because he tries to create back there. Like he does get credit for.
Q, I wanted to throw this at you before you go. Dewan Jones and Fale, both 6'8", both 380 is what they're listed. But Dewan Jones ran a 4.35 40. Is
what?
that true?
No,
that's not true.
There's no way in hell he ran a 4.3.
That's what I'm saying. Look at this.
No, the AI just lied to you.
No, this is not the AI. This is not the AI.
No, that's AI, brother.
This is Wikipedia. This is Wikipedia.
Nah.
Wikipedia lied.
Somebody was being funny.
5.35.
5.35. There we go. That makes more sense.
What did I say?
You said 4.35.
I'm sorry.
4.35,
that meant 5.35. No, I'm sorry. That's what I meant.
Okay.
But still, 5.35 for that big guy.
This man ran faster than Marquise Goodwin.
No, sorry. That was my bad. Isn't 5.35 impressive for that big guy?
Oh, sure.
I mean, it's impressive to just finish the fucking 40 at that.
Well, let me run a 5.6.
Marius Mims ran a 5.07. Marius Mims looks crazy because he's not fat at all.
That's why he was a first round pick.
Yeah,
that's why Mims was the top. What was he, like top 15?
Yeah, he was. I think he was 18.
Yeah,
18.
something like that.
There will be a day within the next 10 years where we see like a right tackle run like a 4.8, and people are gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Like
Pennington?
Wait, hold on. Wasn't that
Pennington or something like that?
the kid from the Jets? Wasn't the kid from the Jets super athletic, and then he ended up on the Eagles?
Makai back then, he ran like
Makai
a 5
back
flat.
then.
The only 40 time I could think that was like 4.7 from a tackle was Lane Johnson back in the day. I think he ran like 4.76.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna look up Lane Johnson's 40 time.
Yeah. Teron Armstead also ran a ridiculous 40 time too.
Lane.
Okay, who's your
4.72? Okay, well maybe I underestimated. That's
2-1.
absurd.
Oh yeah. And then I'll look up Teron Armstead too while I'm talking.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
But
he's athletic.
I remember that one. That one was impressive because that was full fat man running fast, right? But yeah, I'm actually going to surprise some folks here. I'm going to put the Browns here too. The reason I'm going to put them at 2 is if this were a couple of years ago, we're like the upside of Wyatt Teller and he's still able to hit that all NFL, all pro first team kind of ceiling, and the same with like Jack Conklin and the same with Joe Bitonio, I would feel like, hey, we got our best matches up with Baltimore's best. I think right now we have a really solid unit, but these guys have aged, right? Bitonio, he's not at that all-pro level that he used to be. He's much better than what the PFF grades would say he was last year, right? Because they switched the offensive line, and Deshaun Watson just was terrible with his pocket management, right? So, a lot of that stuff kind of affected it. I think Ethan Posick in a system that makes more sense is going to go back to being really good. Wyatt Teller, he's been inconsistent even since before we switched the offense over. So I expect him to be similarly inconsistent at times. And then Jack Conklin, if he's healthy, he's great. The question is health with him, right? And then with Dewan, I like Dewan. I just have some concerns about that transition he's going to have to left tackle, right? One thing with Dewan, we talked about it with his 40 time. He's not a great athlete in space, right? The difference between like an Amarius Mims and a Dewan Jones is Amarius Mims, you could pull him, get him out in space. He could hit a linebacker. That's not something you could do with Dewan Jones. So they're going to have to work around that. This is, I think, going to be a much better unit than last year. I think pass blocking, they're going to be pretty strong because Dewan's pretty strong there. Run blocking, I think they're going to be okay, but they're going to be they might be a little, two-dimensional, not one-dimensional, but two-dimensional with what they can really do concept-wise. given that their left tackle can't really pull and who knows what happens. Here's where I'll give the Browns a lot of credit. I think their depth this year is so much better than it was last year. Cornelius Lucas is a legitimate backup tackle. Tevin Jenkins is a legitimate backup guard, both sides. You can even, try to throw him at tackle. I think you could be fine in the game if you had to do that. Luke Whippler, our draft pick from a couple of years ago in the 6th round, I think he's going to be a real solid center. I think, it's time to start considering if you really need to keep Posick much longer. Because I think Whippler's going to be very good there at the center position. Zach Zinter, I think he's had a solid enough preseason where I'm encouraged about him. And they traded for somebody at the bottom of the Rams practice squad. I don't know much about him, but I feel pretty good about the room overall. Reason I give Baltimore the edge, I think their highest peaks in that room, their individual best players, they're just hitting higher peaks here. And I'm a firm believer in, yeah, the room can be great, but if you got dudes, those certified dudes in their prime, that's going to outweigh having a really, really solid veteran group like the Browns have, because I don't think Joe's at the point where he's dude anymore, right? He's really good. He was dude, but he's still, he's not there. I don't think Wyatt Teller's consistently dude anymore, but I think, you could say that about the Ravens center. And Ronnie Stanley came back to form, man. I've been talking shit about Ronnie Stanley for 2 years. After that knee injury, he ain't the same guy. He ain't been the right guy. Ronnie stand by, all those jokes. Nah, he looked like Ronnie Stanley again. And then they got Roger Rosengarten. You guys know how much I like Roger Rosengarten coming out the draft last year. So because their ability to kind of hit a higher peak than the Browns, and, at the end of the day, how are we going to judge this by the end of the year? Utilization matters. The Ravens are going to utilize that offensive line much more than the Browns are going to utilize their offensive line. I think we're going to walk away at the end of the year saying the Baltimore Ravens had the best offensive line in the division. Browns will be up there. Really good offensive line. I think everything Ace said to justify them at 1. I think you can make that argument. I think it's fair. Me personally, I have an overall philosophy of, hey, man, you got the dudes, right? I said this with the tight end room, right? Like the depth in the room, if you got the dudes, you got the dudes. And Baltimore has the dudes right now. We'll see if that changes. Maybe DeJuan develops into a dude, and then we're changing this whole conversation. Broderick Jones, right? He could be a dude. Same thing with Amarius Mims, who looks like he's on his way to being that. And that's part of why I put Pittsburgh over Cincinnati, because I'm like, I think that Troy Fontana has very high potential to be that. I think their center's really good. And, that peak, that ability to hit that peak matters. So, yeah, that's why I go here. Put the Ravens here at 1, begrudgingly. And I hope you guys trade me Roger Rosengarten back, because you come for me, and I don't appreciate.
I told you, I said this in the pre-draft. Anyway, I have the same 2-1.
When you bring up somebody that you like in the draft, and then somebody's like, "Yeah, man, I think my team's actually going to draft them." I'm like, "Oh fuck."
I thought the Ravens would have drafted your boys, Swishinger. I thought if he would have been there in the 2nd round. Anyway. Jones for me is definitely the biggest question mark in the Cleveland's O-line. The rest, Coughlin, the problem is, can he stay healthy, as Q said? When he plays, even when he played with the Titans, he was really good. He's always been really good. Health, it is his biggest question. And then the center of this O-line, I think they have slowly digressed a little, right? They're not, it's not that they're bad, but they definitely were way better before. Could be age, could be a number of factors, but definitely has taken a slower step back. The unit itself is a strong unit. The sum of 5. I think the biggest question mark is Jones. Go ahead, Q.
I'm sorry, just to add this one in here. Teron Armstead ran up 4.71 at 306 pounds.
Yeah. No, he was insane. The Saints got him.
I think he retired recently, didn't he?
Yeah, this year.
Wow.
From the Dolphins.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in the Dolphins. Okay, and then so if you think about the Ravens, you had 2 Pro Bowlers with, I think Rosengarten is definitely on his way to be another Pro Bowl type of player. The question with the Ravens is also both guards, right? Y'all know Fahalele. I have mentioned him to the nth instead. I actually think Emory Jones, we drafted him this year in the 3rd round. I think the idea was that he was going to be the guard. Now, he had a bad shoulder in the draft, and he's in the pup. I like the other guy that we drafted too in the case of death, Carson Vincent, a guy that I think in the next year or two. Yeah, I think they draft him so he can learn from Stanley because Stanley's getting up there in age, and Stanley probably I would say has 2 years here. I think after that, Vincent takes over. That's if I was a betting man, that's how that transition.
How old is Stanley?
Stanley's like 30, 31.
Dude,
Maybe.
your
Nah,
Can't
that's
be
young
that
for a
old.
Raven.
is
That's young
31
for a
years old.
Raven.
No, because we drafted him.
You guys
Yeah.
signed Morgan Moses a few years ago, and he was like 33. There's no way you guys.
31. He's 31.
He's 31. Wow, I didn't
No.
realize.
I'm saying you guys signed
I
Morgan
got you.
Moses when he was
But
like
Stanley,
34.
we drafted him as a rookie. It was the first round pick for us.
Do you guys not keep guys till they get old?
You don't
I
keep
feel like
them.
that's a Raven thing. Y'all keep guys.
Yeah,
in-
yeah.
I don't.
We
That's
give
what I'm
him-
saying. He's not done, bro.
No,
he's
well-
loading up for another 2 contracts.
I think he signed. He just signed. I think he will be here for 2 more years. Is what I'm
And
thinking.
by the way, Ace, are you ready for that Trey Henderson signs in Baltimore notification?
Nah,
Next
that's
year?
not happening.
Next
That's not
year?
happening.
that ding, doom.
I will say this.
Uh,
I'll say this about that though. Ace, like if we got to sit through this Trey Hendrickson bullshit for a 3rd straight year, I'm done feeling sympathy for him. You knew what you signed up for. Go somewhere else.
Yeah, you
Well,
gotta
he's a
get
free
out
agent
there.
next year.
Until they tag him, and then he's gonna bitch and moan about
Tag and
being
trade.
tagged.
Why didn't they-
Tag and
that's the
trade.
question I have. Why didn't they trade? Oh, that are they going to try to save the tag? I see what they're doing.
Tag and
I see
trade.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
No, they're saying, "Hey, we're going to give you 2 guaranteed years, basically, by giving you this contract and then tagging him the next year, and then making the decision after that because it isn't a tag guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fully
Tag is
guaranteed.
guaranteed.
Yeah,
Average top 5.
it's really a 2-year deal.
Which is what he said he wanted. He said he wanted 2 years guaranteed. Well,
Oh, they found a way
that's
around
what
that.
you wish
then.
for,
Good for
buddy.
him.
You know what? They took a lot of shit, and then some of it was deserved. But hey, they got what they wanted. Yeah. Like,
So
Don't get me wrong.
finishing,
I'm pro player, but after 2 years of it, I can only sit through so much.
honest to God, it just feels like a good compromise at that point. If that's
Yeah,
what they
It does.
you get the pay raise in the 2nd year because what the tag for Edge is what 30
$36 million next year. I think is what the tag is.
I think with the deal that they gave him this year, I think they guaranteed basically all of his contract for
Yeah.
this season.
Yeah, for
they
this
get
season, it's all guaranteed.
in a 2-year fully guaranteed deal after 1, technically, if they want
There you
to,
go.
because it's an
Mhm.
option.
Yeah. So
No,
what I
yeah.
was finishing here. So I said Falele, not a fan. I actually like Voorhees. Last year he was slated to be the starter. He got injured in the preseason, and then he was ready for week 2. But again, Harbaugh said like, "Well, the offensive line's playing good. We don't want to mess up with the." That's when Pat Ricard was doing left guard. He played here and there when Pat Ricard got hurt. I thought he was solid, right? So, but definitely those are your 2 biggest question mark. I think Emory Jones will be luring over there if when he comes healthy. If Fahalele or Voorhees doesn't play well, I think I like their depth. I also we had this guy from 2 years ago, Corey Bullock. He has impressed me how he has played. He has played. They actually are using. He's been being used like Pat Ricard, center, guard, a little bit of tackle. I think he was a tackle from Maryland 2 years ago. So Corey Bullock definitely. I like the overall of the Ravens a little bit more than I do from the Browns. Okay, Super Chef from Ray Rag says, I love that the video with Q and Jerry released after the Pickett trade. The Browns got a better pick than either of them thought they could. Gotta love the Raiders' ability to be suckers.
Hey man, if you got any kind of scam you want to do,
The Raiders.
just call the
Call
Raiders.
Mark Davis.
They have fallen for a remarkable amount of scams over the last 5
But you
years.
would think with Pete Carroll, that's what surprised me. Pete Carroll's there.
Don't that feel like a scam? You know what I mean? Like Pete Carroll re-upping at 80? Don't that feel like a scam? Right?
I got you.
You know what I mean? Like, look, everything they have done at the coaching position. They came off John Gruden, the ultimate scam, and then went to a bigger scam in Josh McDaniels.
And Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, which is a huge scam.
They tried to get Hugh Jackson on the coaching staff over there.
God.
I mean, like, what else did they try to do? Oh, they built the defense around Robert Spillane. Was that?
Hey, we're not going to take Cheddar Bob Strays over here. He played well.
Yeah, he didn't built the defense around him.
Well,
but
sure.
It's Crosby on that side of the ball too. Yeah, the Raiders.
Gruden will coach again sooner than you'd think. I bet in the next 2 years he's on a sideline.
College?
Maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
No, I mean, the owner's stupid enough to do it, right?
I could see him coaching college somewhere though. It would start small. It would be like Florida International, and then he'll lead them to like 3 good years, and then he'll go to UCF.
Gruden's like 60 something, right?
He's only in his 50s. No,
I think he's
probably low 60s. You're right. My bad.
Okay, he's 62. That's young for a coach in college.
Yeah, man, he's still got. I mean, coach speak.
30 years left. They're letting Bill Belichick out there.
He's 73.
Yeah. Jeez.
I mean, how Joe Pa and Bobby Bowden coached until their 80s, so yeah, he's still got time.
Well, yeah, Joe Pa did not coach until his.
He was there.
That last year,
dude. I remember even being like second grade, being like, okay, something's up here. Like he can't understand what's happening here, right? This has just got to be he's like the queen or king of England. Like they don't really have any power. He's just kind of the figurehead.
He's up there in the stands during the game,
because he got hurt in a game against Wisconsin. He broke his leg, and they put him up in the coaching box.
He was ever on the sideline.
Yeah,
I remember. That was like what was that 13?
Oh hell, no! It would have been before that because he got fired in 11.
Yeah, so it was. I think it was close to the end, wasn't it?
It's 08, 09, maybe somewhere in there.
Yeah, well, yeah, Joe Pa. I remember there was a Cardale Jones was getting recruited by Joe Paterno, and you just heard like the word was like, yeah, Joe Pa ain't there no more. They just kind of wheeled him out so you could take the picture with them, you know.
Yeah, who do you think went on like the recruiting? Because there's no way at 80 years old this man's going around the country recruiting guys. Who's doing that?
It's probably the kids, right? Like that's where you hire the family, right? It's probably the Joe Paterno family. You gotta get grandpa in the right place.
Yeah,
and then, you probably have one of them who's like a special director of things that really knows how to sell the Joe Paterno legacy. Right, like it probably was a family business at that point. But yeah, it's the Grudens. I didn't realize he was that young, 62. Yeah, we're gonna see that fucking guy again.
I'm telling you, it'll start out with like some Sunbelt school that'll hire him.
Can't be that bored, man.
Dude, yeah. I've never seen anybody who loves anything as much as Gruden loves football. Like I would guarantee he'll be back on
the same staff.
What's that?
You think him and his brother come back on the same staff?
That's a good shout. What's Jay? Jay's doing like podcasts. He's doing something for Underdog.
Yeah,
Jay's at Underdog doing something. I wouldn't. He'll be his like OC or his quarterback coach or both.
I don't know. I don't know if I could be in my 50s or 60s working with my older brother. Feels like it's like
I don't know because they weren't on the same staff. Like I don't know if they ever intersected on the same staff.
No, I don't remember
because Jay was in the Arena League for a while Gruden was in Philly as the receivers coach.
Probably not in a serious capacity now.
Yeah, so I don't know. It might be a first. We'll see.
Yeah, they're going to be coaching Tennessee.
That would be fun. Yeah. That would be hilarious.
Josh Heupel gets fired. No more of this new age fangled nonsense.
I tell you what, man, we're not doing any of this bullshit air raid. I'm gonna have 7 tight ends out there, man.
Yeah, 12. We're gonna run 12. We're gonna run 13. We'll run 14 personnel. You know what I mean? I'll run it all.
Q, Rayback said, do you see when YSU sent Gruden a box of merch?
When did this happen?
Maryland,
like everybody sends him a box of merch. He does unboxing videos every day.
A merch.
Really?
A college merch. That's what I'm thinking. He's going to
Tony Khan sent him an AEW when he's walking around with the AEW championship saying that he's Mercedes Monet. That shit was hilarious.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Wild. Saying that, we're coming back next week. Prediction week, meaning next week we have a game. So we're going to be breaking the games. We have the AFC marquee matchup. Browns Bengals about to show up. Ravens play the Buffalo Bills. Another good game. I don't even remember the Steelers play.
Steelers play the Jets.
Oh, that's right.
That's the one to skip. You know,
the QB trade. The QB trade.
Yeah, I watched that one on condensed. You know what I mean?
Iron Eagle and JJ Watt on the call at MetLife for that one.
And on mute.
Hey, We don't deal with Iron Eagle strays around here.
Hey, look, man, I love Iron Eagle, but I don't need to hear JJ Watt.
Yeah, I don't know how he's gonna do.
Third fucking defensive player of the year in week
I don't
one.
know why they felt the need, because like Charles Davis is still going to be doing NFL games this year. I don't know why they felt the need to demote him ahead of him going to the main college booth for CBS. That felt kind of weird to me. But whatever.
So be here next week. Make sure you sub, hit the bell again. Follow us on Twitter. We're gonna do that Survivor League, and thank you to Chubbies. Go check the link out for $10 discount. We'll be up here next week. Peace out.